You can spend thousands upgrading your car, or you can spend $20 and make it illegal and faster. From sketchy plugins to full-blown horsepower hacks, there's a world of underground car mods that technically aren't allowed, but absolutely work. I'm Mike Anderson from Garage IQ, and today we'll be talking about 10 illegal car mods from cheapest to most expensive, showing you what each one actually does, how much trouble it'll get you in, and whether it's a waste of money or pure genius. Because that $40 hack might give you real torque, and that $1,500 setup could make your car a weapon, but also land you in court. Number 10. Throttle Restrictor Delete. If you've ever floored the gas pedal and felt like your car took a coffee break before reacting, blame the throttle restrictor. Modern cars, especially budget-friendly ones, come with what's called a throttle delay or throttle dampening system. It's not broken, it's designed that way to smooth out acceleration and save a bit of fuel. But if you like your car to actually respond when you hit the gas, that delay gets real old real fast. The fix? A throttle restrictor delete. It's either a simple plug-and-play module or a DIY job you can handle with a screwdriver and a YouTube tutorial. Price? About $20. So why is it illegal in some states? Because it technically messes with your car's emissions profile and drive-by-wire system. Two things the government really doesn't want you tampering with. Even if it doesn't spit out more pollutants, the fact that you're modifying a factory-calibrated system can flag it as a no-no during inspections. But here's the thing, it works immediately. Your throttle becomes sharper, your low-end torque feels punchier, and the car actually starts to behave like it has some guts. Totally worth it if you live in an area without heavy inspections. Number 9. Headlight Taillight Tint. For less than $40, you can slap on a smoked tint film over your headlights or taillights, and just like that, your car goes from daily driver to dark night. But a lot of people don't realize this is technically illegal in most states. Why? Because you're reducing the brightness of your lights. Headlights need to project a certain amount of light, and taillights need to be visible from a specific distance. Tinting them can violate federal visibility standards. And let's be real, while it looks clean, it doesn't add a drop of performance. No better handling, no faster acceleration, just aesthetics. So unless your car lives in a garage and only comes out on weekends, this one's a gamble. Not worth the risk for daily driving. It looks good, sure, but the fines and legal headaches aren't worth the vibe. Number 8. Straight pipe exhaust. You hear it before you see it. That deep, aggressive roar coming down the block? Yeah, that's a straight piped setup. No muffler, no catalytic converter, just raw, unrestricted engine noise blasting out the tailpipe. Some love it, some hate it. The law? Definitely hate it. You can straight pipe your car for as little as $100 if you've got a welder or know a guy. It's one of the most popular and controversial mods in the game. And on paper, it has some benefits. You remove a bunch of back pressure, shed a few pounds, and maybe gain a couple horses depending on the car. But in reality, most of what you get is sound. Loud sound. Attention-grabbing, neighbor-annoying, cop-attracting sound. The kind of sound that gets you flagged for noise violations and emissions infractions, especially if you yanked out the catalytic converter along with the muffler. Number 7. EGR Delete Kit. The EGR, or Exhaust Gas Recirculation System, is basically your engine's way of trying to be a better citizen. It recycles some of the exhaust gases back into the intake to reduce nitrogen oxide emissions. Great for the planet, not so great for performance. Over time, the EGR system clogs up. It gums the intake with soot, chokes the engine, and saps your power. That's why diesel guys love the EGR Delete Kit. For around $150, you can rip the whole thing out and stop feeding your engine its own filth. Legally tampering with emission systems is a straight-up federal offense. Not just a ticket. We're talking hefty fines if you get caught selling, installing, or even running it on public roads. And in smog check states, you're not passing inspection, period. But here's the truth. It works really well, especially on turbo diesels like the Duramax, Powerstroke, or Cummins. You get better throttle response, cooler engine temperature, longer turbo life, and sometimes even a bump in fuel efficiency. Totally worth it if you live in a rural area or off-road your truck. But if you've got mandatory emissions testing, you're gambling with heavy ignition. Number 6. Window Tint. Window tint has that effect. It turns your car into a private jet on wheels. No sun in your eyes, no people peeking in. For about $200, it's one of the sleekest upgrades you can make. But here's the deal. Anything around 5% tint is illegal, especially on front windows. Most states have limits on how much light has to pass through your glass, and 5%, which is basically pitch black, is way below that. Now, does it boost horsepower? Nope. Improve handling? Not even close. But it does make your car feel cooler, literally and figuratively. It reduces glare, protects your interior, and gives you a little sanctuary during traffic jams. Worth it until you get pulled over. If you're okay with the occasional fix-it ticket or you live in a state that doesn't enforce tint laws too hard, go for it. Otherwise, maybe stick to 20%. Number 5. Racing seats with no airbag sensors. These are the kind of mods you feel every time you take a sharp corner. Bucket seats hug your body, keep you planted, and scream, "Serious driver." Swapping out your stock chairs for a set of racing seats runs about $400 or a lot more depending on brand. But even at the low end, it changes the whole feel of the car. There's a catch though. Most racing seats don't come with side airbags, seatbelt pretensioners, or sensors that talk to your car's airbag control system. That means disabling or bypassing safety equipment just to install them, which is illegal for road use. From a legal standpoint, removing airbags or messing with safety restraint systems crosses a hard line. And if you get into an accident, forget it. Insurance may not cover you. Worse, you've just downgraded the one thing designed to save your life in a crash. But if you're building a track car, these seats are a must. The added support during hard cornering, plus the reduced weight, gives you tighter control and better lap times. Number 4. ECU Tune with Emissions Delete. An ECU Tune is already one of the best bang-for-buck performance upgrades out there. But when you throw in an emissions delete, which disables things like your diesel particulate filter, EGR system, catalytic converter sensors, and O2 monitoring, you're stepping into outlaw territory. That's where this $600 mod lives. The benefits are massive, especially on turbocharged engines. You'll see gains in horsepower, torque, throttle response, fuel economy, and overall drivability. Diesel trucks in particular go from sluggish to ferocious. We're talking plus 80 horsepower and a smoother, more aggressive torque curve with just software. But this mod is very illegal. Federal emissions laws say you can't tamper with any component tied to emissions control. Period. Doesn't matter if it's just a computer flash. And thanks to the EPA cracking down hard on tuners and shops, some companies won't even sell you the software unless you prove it's for off-road or racing use. And don't think you can hide it. Emissions monitors can be detected during inspection. Some newer vehicles even flag tampering in their onboard diagnostic logs. Once a dealership or smog tech sees that, you're not just failing inspection, you could be staring down thousands in fines. So is it worth it? Totally worth it if you're off the grid. If your vehicle doesn't need to pass inspection or it's registered as an off-road or farm use machine, this mod wakes up the beast under your hood. But if you're in California or anywhere with strict testing, you're asking for trouble. Number 3. Catless Downpipe. A catless downpipe replaces the section of your exhaust that connects the turbo to the rest of the system, minus the restrictive catalytic converter. And what you get is a game-changing increase in performance, especially if your car is running boost. At around $850, this isn't a casual mod. It's for people chasing real numbers. The downpipe opens up the exhaust flow, reduces back pressure, and lets the turbo breathe freely. Combined with a proper tune, this one mod can unlock anywhere from 25 to 70 plus extra horsepower, depending on your setup. But of course, there's a reason this is illegal almost everywhere. Removing your catalytic converter violates federal emissions law. No CAT equals no compliance. Your car will fail any state inspection. And even worse, some systems throw check engine lights constantly unless you tune them out. Also, the sound changes a lot. Your exhaust becomes louder, raspier, and meaner. Some love it, others call it obnoxious. But everyone, including law enforcement, notices it. You're basically broadcasting, "Hey, I'm running illegal hardware." Now, from a performance standpoint, this is absolutely one of the most effective upgrades you can do. It wakes up the car in all the right ways. The throttle feels snappier, the revs build faster, and it's way more satisfying to drive hard. But again, this mod is for a very specific kind of driver, only if you race or live in the countryside. If you've got no inspections, no neighbors complaining, and your car is already tuned, go for it. But for the average daily driver, you'll run into too many headaches. Number 2. Air Suspension Kit. Air suspension isn't just about performance, it's about presence. This is one of those mods that transforms your entire relationship with the car. You pull up, hit a button, and your ride drops to the pavement like it's posing for a magazine cover. But this style comes with a hefty price tag, around $1,500 for a basic setup. Higher-end kits can run double or triple that. What you get is full control over your ride height. Want to daily at a comfortable, practical level? No problem. Want to slam it at the show for that ultra-clean stance? Hit a switch. Some systems even allow you to adjust ride quality, soft for cruising, firm for spirited driving. Here's the rub though. Air suspension is a legal gray area. In some states, it's fine as long as the vehicle maintains safe clearance while driving. But in others, laws prohibit adjustable ride height while the car is in motion or impose minimum ground clearance rules that a slammed air ride can easily violate. And when something goes wrong, which it will eventually, maintenance gets pricey. A failed compressor or leaking bag can leave your car squatting like it just got KO'd in a fight. Not to mention, cops aren't always fans of slammed vehicles scraping over speed bumps. Performance-wise, air rides can be surprisingly capable. With the right setup, you get a decent balance of comfort and handling. But make no mistake, this mod is about style first, performance second. Worth it if you show your car. If you're deep in the car scene, hitting meets, and building a true showpiece, this one pays off. Number 1. Nitrous Oxide Injection Kit. Alright, we've arrived at the final and most extreme mod on the list. And honestly, it's the one that feels like it came straight out of a Fast and Furious movie. Nitrous Oxide. The big red button. The instant rocket-like boost. The stuff that turns a regular street car into a fire-breathing monster for a few seconds. A basic nitrous kit will run you about $2,000, and that's just the beginning. If you're serious, you'll need a purge kit, bottle warmers, safety blow-off valves, fuel system upgrades, and maybe even a new ECU tune to avoid blowing a hole through your pistons. Do it cheap and dirty and you'll grenade your engine. Do it right, and you've got a chemical weapon under your hood. So why is it illegal? First, the obvious. Nitrous oxide is classified as a racing-only modification. In many states, it's not just illegal to use nitrous on public roads, it's illegal to even have it installed, even if the bottle is disconnected, even if the lines are empty. Some states allow possession but not activation, others ban the system outright. Get caught with it hooked up and armed? You could be facing more than just a ticket. You could be looking at a court appearance, hefty fines, and a vehicle impound. But let's talk about what it does. Nitrous cools the intake charge and adds oxygen to the combustion process, which allows you to dump in more fuel and make a lot more power. Depending on the size of the shot, you can add 50, 100, and even 200 plus horsepower at the press of a button. That's insane. It's addictive, and it feels like hitting hyperspace. Problem is, it's not sustainable. You get a short burst of power and then it's gone. Use it too often and your engine internals start begging for mercy. It's also really obvious. Purge clouds, loud backfires, and that classic hiss all scream illegal mod. And unlike a tune or downpipe, this isn't a passive mod. It's something you have to manage, refill, and baby. It's not daily driver friendly. It's not cheap to maintain, and once law enforcement catches wind, you're instantly on their radar. Not worth it. Unless you're deep into drag racing or building a dedicated race car, nitrous is more risk than reward. There are safer, smarter ways to make power without risking a ticket, a blown engine, or both. So after all that, what's the takeaway? Which mod gives you the most value, and which one is a total waste? When it comes to the mod with the best value of money, it's definitely the Throttle Restrictor Delete. It's cheap, sneaky, and actually improves how your car feels to drive. For under $25, it transforms your throttle response without the noise, attention, or risk of inspection failure. Not bad for a few lines of code or a DIY kit. As for the mod with the worst value, it's the Nitrous kit. Yes, it's insanely fast, for 5 seconds. But between the legality, the cost, and the wear on your engine, it's just not worth the drama unless you're living on a drag strip. Do these mods work? Hell yeah. They'll turn your car into something insane, but get ready for the consequences.